Most people drift through life as if they were passengers, as if fate were a bus driver, and they were just holding a ticket, waiting for the next stop to decide who they are. But what if I told you, you were never the passenger? What if you've always been the one with the wheel in your hands, blindfolded only by fear, conditioning, and doubt? We are born into a world that teaches us to conform before we ever learn to create. We are handed maps drawn by others, compasses that point to someone else's idea of success, and mirrors that reflect society's expectations, not our essence. And so we forget that perception isn't just a lens, it's the paintbrush. That reality isn't a solid wall, it's a canvas. Every belief you hold, every story you tell yourself when you're alone, every moment you choose fear instead of love, builds your world brick by brick. This isn't about toxic positivity. This isn't about pretending everything is fine when it's not. This is about taking radical ownership of your inner world. Because when you change the observer, the entire universe shifts with you. In this video, we're going to peel back the layers. We're going to talk about trauma, beliefs, identity, and transformation, not as abstract ideas, but as real, tangible tools that shape your daily experience. Because you, yes, you, are the one who controls your reality. What is reality, if not the mind's reflection? Every moment we live is filtered through a mirror, not of glass, but of memory, bias, emotion, and belief. We do not see the world as it is. We see it through ourselves. Two people can walk through the same storm. One finds beauty in the chaos, the other only cold. Why? Because the storm isn't just weather. It is a canvas on which we paint our internal world. Most people believe they're reacting to reality, but in truth, we react to the meaning we assign to it. We are meaning makers, not truth bearers, and that is both our burden and our liberation. You see, the world doesn't make us feel small. We arrive with stories that already believe we are. And the world, it only reflects back what we project. If you carry fear, you'll see threat. If you carry lack, you'll see scarcity. If you carry unworthiness, even love will feel dangerous. So the question is not what is real. The question is, what is yours? Because reality isn't something you see, it's something you create. Imagine your thoughts as bricks, and your beliefs as mortar, each one laid quietly, day by day, until you are living inside a mental structure you didn't even know you were building. You wake up one day, and the ceilings are low, the windows let in no light, the walls echo your doubts, and you call it a reality. But really, it's a prison made of inherited ideas. The architecture of your mind was not always your design. Some rooms were built by parents, some by culture, some by trauma. Yet here you are, living in a house you didn't choose, but still calling it home. Here's the truth few are ready to hear. Your beliefs shape your outcomes. Your perception bends your fate. The limits you experience are often not laws, but suggestions that you've accepted as unchangeable truths. You are the builder now. You can renovate, tear down the lies that no longer serve, create windows of gratitude, install doors of curiosity, and build a foundation rooted in truth. Your truth. You are not bound to live in a structure built by pain. You can design something sacred, expansive, unapologetically yours. Because the moment you realize your mind is the architect, you awaken to your ultimate power, the power to reshape the life you thought was fixed. There is a presence within you that existed before the name you answer to, before the opinions others gave you, before the labels smart, slow, ugly, beautiful, weak, strong. Before all of that, there was simply awareness. We forget that we are the observer behind the thoughts. Not the thought itself, not the fear, not the desire, not even the body we inhabit. We are the one who sees. We are the witness. This isn't just spiritual poetry. It's a fundamental shift in power. Because the moment you recognized that you are not your circumstances, but the awareness navigating through them, you realize you are never truly powerless. You are never truly stuck. You're simply asleep to the fact that the dream is yours to direct. You may have been born into chaos, pain, trauma, but you are not those things. You are the one who survived them. And if you survive them, you can reimagine them. You can change the meaning of every page in your past. The soul doesn't cry for comfort, it cries for remembrance. And when you remember that you are the awareness behind the eyes, life stops being something that happens to you and becomes something that flows through you. Reality is not fixed. It is elastic, malleable, a living canvas. And your perception, it is the brush. It is the sculptor. It decides whether something becomes a curse or a catalyst, a burden or a blessing. Two people can stand in the same storm. One sees destruction, the other sees renewal. One sees a relationship ending, the other sees the self finally beginning. That's not because one is delusional. It's because perception determines meaning, and meaning determines motion, and motion becomes life. The Stoics understood this long ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you but your judgment about it. Everything you feel is filtered through the lens of how you think, and how you think is often a habit, not a truth." The greatest spiritual lie is that you must seek something outside to find peace. But the truth is more sobering. You've always had the power to choose your meaning, and in that meaning, your entire world shifts. Change your perception, and the world will seem to change its shape. Not because the world transformed, but because you finally did. We live inside stories, not just the ones told by authors or strangers, but the ones whispered silently within us, on repeat, day after day, until they become our reality. I'm not good enough. I'm always too late. Things never work out for me. These kinds of lies are for other people, not me. These aren't facts. They're inner myths written in pain, repeated in fear, and passed down like heirlooms from generations who never healed. And yet we call them truth. We forget that every story is an interpretation. Every interpretation is a choice, and every choice is a direction that forms identity. And identity becomes reality. If you tell yourself you're broken, you'll walk like you're fractured. If you tell yourself the world is cruel, you'll shrink from its warmth. But here's the awakening. You can edit the narrative, not with denial, but with authorship. You can take the pen back from pain. You can write a new chapter without needing the past to apologize first. You can begin again, not because the world gave you permission, but because you finally did. The mind is a powerful storyteller, but your awareness is the editor, and your soul is the author that remembers the ending can still be beautiful. Most of us resist responsibility. It feels like weight, like blame, like pressure to fix what we didn't break. But what if responsibility isn't a punishment? What if it's a doorway? To take responsibility for your reality is not to blame yourself for what hurt you. It's to reclaim your power to choose what happens next. Because here's a universal truth. You may not control what happens to you, but you always control the meaning you give it and the energy you respond with. Viktor Frankl, a survivor of the Holocaust, wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. When you stop waiting for the world to change first, when you stop assigning your peace to another person's behavior, you begin to see what true freedom feels like. It feels like choosing joy even in uncertainty. It feels like creating art from grief. It feels like saying, I will not let this moment define me. I will defy it." Responsibility is not a chain. It is a key, the key that unlocks your role as the creator, not just the survivor of your life. Because once you realize that your perception builds your path, you stop looking for a savior and become the sculptor of your own salvation. We've been taught to strive for control over time, emotions, people, outcomes. But what if control is an illusion? What if the grip we chase is the very thing that keeps us from flowing? The river doesn't ask permission to bend. The wind doesn't consult your plans before it shifts. Life is not a formula. It's a dance. And in this dance, chaos is not the enemy. It's the rhythm of becoming. We fear what we cannot predict. So we build walls, label everything, and call it safety. But true safety doesn't live in certainty. It lives in surrender. There is a sacred kind of power in saying, I do not need to control this moment to trust it. I do not need to know the future to know myself. When you release the need to master every variable, you make space for magic. You invite synchronicity. You create room for what the mind cannot orchestrate, but the soul can recognize. Control was never your superpower. Presence is, awareness is, alignment is, and when you stop wrestling with life, you start dancing with it. The world you see is not just what's out there. It's what's within you, reflected outward. If your heart is wounded, even kindness can look suspicious. If your spirit is burdened, even silence can feel like judgment. This is not delusion, it's projection. A mirror, not of reality itself, but of the meaning your inner world casts upon it. Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Think about that. How many of us live inside a loop, reacting not to truth, but to trauma disguised as truth? We blame others for our inner storms. We point to the world and say, see, it's broken, not realizing it is only broken as we are. The mirror does not lie, but it does reflect our wounds. So the work is not just to fix the world, but to heal the lens through which we see it. If you carry bitterness, the sky itself can feel hostile. If you carry peace, even pain becomes a teacher. Reality responds to your frequency, not in some magical, wishful way, but in the very real sense that what you expect, you will find. So ask yourself, what am I projecting onto the world today? Is it fear or love? Is it guilt or grace? Because the mirror will reflect whatever you choose to bring. You are not just a character in this story. You are the writer, the narrator, the editor, the soul who holds the pen. But so many of us live as if the script is fixed, as if our past trauma, our environment, or the opinions of others have already written the ending. We inherit fears like they're family heirlooms. We adopt roles we never auditioned for, and slowly we forget the truth that every day you are handed a blank page. Yes, your past holds power, but it is not your prison. It is your raw material. You can revise the narrative. You can choose who you become by choosing what you believe. Philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre once said, man is nothing else but what he makes of himself. This is existential freedom, and it is terrifying because it means we can no longer hide behind fate. But it is also liberating because it means we can begin again. You don't need permission to rewrite your story. You need the courage to challenge the old version and the patience to write the new one. Word by word, breath by breath. Your beliefs are not facts. They are stories. Stories you've been told. Stories you've told yourself. Stories shaped by survival, pain, and identity. But you can ask, does this story still serve me? Or is it holding me hostage in a version of myself I've outgrown? You are allowed to outgrow narratives. You are allowed to shed identities that once kept you safe, but now keep you small. We are all walking paradoxes, yearning to change, yet clinging to who we used to be, because it feels familiar. But the truth is, transformation isn't about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you already are, beneath the layers of conditioning, fear, and societal noise. The philosopher Alan Watts once said, you are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. So let yourself evolve. Let the version of you who doubted everything give birth to the one who trusts. Let the voice of self-loathing grow quiet as the voice of self-authority grows louder. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your circumstances. You are the author of your reality, and the script is still being written. To know that you are the one who controls your reality is not enough. You must embody it, because philosophy, when not lived, is merely decoration, a beautiful structure with no breath inside, a cathedral of ideas where no prayers are whispered. True power is not loud. It is not the dominance of others. It is the radical realization that your mind, your perception, is the filter through which life reveals itself. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "People are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them." If that is true, and it is, then heaven and hell are not places. They are perspectives. And the greatest shift in life is not external. It's internal. It's when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What is this revealing within me?" It's when you no longer wait for the world to change, but change the eyes through which you see it. This is not denial of pain. It's the sacred transformation of it, where suffering becomes teacher, loss becomes awakening, and every ending becomes a doorway to a deeper truth. To live this way is to walk like a philosopher, breathe like a mystic, and love like a soul who remembers that the world outside is a mirror to the world within. Imagine walking through life unaware that you're dreaming. You react, you judge, you chase, you ache, but you never stop to realize you are the dreamer. The dream is yours. Your emotions, reflections of thought. Your thoughts, reflections of belief. Your belief, a construct fragile and flexible. As the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh once said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so we return to the sacred truth. You are the projector, not the screen. You are not a victim of life. You are a participant in its unfolding. And your presence, your awareness, is the most powerful tool you possess. To be self-aware is not to be perfect. It is to be conscious. To say, "I feel this, I choose this, I witness this, and I can shift this." This is mastery not over others, but over yourself. And in that mastery, you find freedom. The river of life flows unpredictable and wild, but you are the one who decides how to swim, how to surrender, how to dance with its current. You are the one who controls your reality, not through force, but through understanding, not through fear, but through presence, not through control, but through deep, awakened consciousness. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle reminds us, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. This is not just spiritual advice. It's the key to rewriting your reality, because you are not the thoughts running through your mind. You are the awareness behind them. You are not the story, you are the storyteller. When Viktor Frankl wrote Man's Search for Meaning after surviving the Holocaust, he declared, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." And that's the core of it, isn't it? Choice. Your life doesn't change when the world changes. It changes when you do. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle teaches how presence is the door to freedom. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz shows how unconscious agreements shape your world and how to rewrite them. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, a profound reminder that you always have the power to choose your response, even in the darkest moments. So pause, close your eyes, breathe, and remember, you are not the chaos. You are the calm behind it. You are not the wound. You are the healer. You are not the broken story. You are the author. And the ink is still wet. Don't wait for life to give you permission. Don't wait for certainty, applause, or rescue. You are the one. You are the spark. You are the shift. So ask yourself, not what will the world give me, but what will I create within it? Because you don't find your reality. You forge it.